Well. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is me. Yes, Tank. Yes, unapologetic Tank. Good morning. Welcome to Tank Talks TV 1. So, of course, I was not going to let this subject pass by, being a part of the LGBTQ, being an LGBTQ, and as I would say, I'm from the south side of the community. I will say this before I get started on this because you got to always build up before you knock them down. And I'm definitely going to be knocking them down for this quickly. So, one thing I love about the LGBTQ is that to be whole is to be together. See, we have different sections, unlike some of you people out there. See, we have sections, we have meetings, we have barbecues, we have we have pamphlets to pass out. We do ministry. We feed the people, and unfortunately, sometimes we even rob. Yes. We even rob. Rob Peter to pay Paul. Rob Peter to buy a wig. Rob Peter to buy Gucci. Rob Peter to fly Spirit. But we still are human, and that's the point of this story. So before we get started, let's go down deep into this little bitty hole right quick because this was a very much case that was very intriguing to me. Good morning. Welcome to the podcast section of this. Okay. So this beautiful lady on the side is Dominique Morgan. You wonder who is Dominique Morgan? Hell, I wonder who the hell it was too for a while because I didn't know who Dominique Morgan was. Okay. Dominique Morgan is a transgender activist, speaker, and former nonprofit leader who became nationally known for advocacy working around the involving LGBTQ plus communities in prison reform. Have a note there. Prison reform, mutual aid programs, and she also has been connected to projects involving T.S. Madison. Now, in other news, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole. Just that's another road to go down. You get to a fork in the road, and we don't want to go down that fork about her and T.S. Madison because this ain't got nothing to really do with her and T.S. Madison. Okay, this is just coming up on the case and where I stand at on my ground of this and what I agree with. Okay, and it said who started this? What started this controversy right now going across the line? Because if you don't know about this is the quick note of this, okay? In 2024, prosecutors in Brooklyn, New York, allegedly that while serving an executive director of the Okra project, some people are saying Oprah, but it's Okra, was diverted approximately $99,000 that was reportedly intended for a bail assistance initiative. It was used money for personal expenses. Prosecutors also alleged that it was false records and bill receipts that were submitted to justify the the endeavors. So the next question I asked is why has social media been taking such talking about this so much recently? This story exploded again in 2026 after Morgan reportedly entered a guilty plea to the grand larceny and falsifying business records charges. Court developments, including being remanded into custody, pending sentencing, and fuel intense discussion across YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and other commentary channels. And it did. It did. It sparked a lot of debate. So, needless to say, Dominique went to a show. She went on the show. I think it's called um, Film Queen, Cool, Crazy, Sexy Class Lady. I don't know. It's a long name. I'll tag it below. So listen, when you hear bullshit, you hear bullshit. And yes, fuck you. We all love Dominique. We love her. Praise the Lord. But I agree with some of the sentiments of the community. Is that we love you, but you can't count the money no more. We love you, but you gotta sit in the back. We love you, but you can't pass the collection plate during the service. That's what a point it is. Now, in other things, I want you to hear. Dominique went on the show with these young ladies. Let me see, make sure I got the right one up here because we want to make sure we go claim things right? Okay. She went on the show. Yeah, FQ Crazy Sexy Cool. Very intriguing name. You should go check it out. Go over there, hit like and subscribe. And after many times, I will tell you this: my honest review of the interview. Dominique had said, from what I had gathered and kind of went down a rabbit hole of it, she said that this was gonna be her last ending all truth. She said, when I come to this podcast and this stream, y'all can ask me anything you want to ask me. I'm gonna lay it all on the table, and I'm gonna say everything I gotta say, and then I'm gonna be done with it. However, as ninjas do, now we got another part. So we gotta wait for the next part, something with a Google Drive or something. But anyway, let's listen into a portion of what the conversation was over here for the conversation, the podcast.
The money that I moved. Why was the Google Drive deleted? Why do I have an audio call with Gabrielle talking to another community member saying that was one of the reasons they fired Alana? That when they went to get the evidence, it was no longer there.
The Google Drive you sent me?
No, the Google Drive I sent you is my Google Drive. There's an audio recording in there where the Google Drive that was being kept by Alana Banks at the Okra Project, because she ran the investigation on me. When they asked for the documentation, all of a sudden the documentation was no longer.
Yes, I heard that. I listened to it. It was about 20 something minutes.
You used the word alleged, right? And being that you took the crime,
I did plead guilty.
You did it. You're guilty. So is it still alleged?
I pled guilty, bitch.
No, because for me, it just said
she what, Asia? She guilty.
She said
no,
guilty.
I know that, but she said allegedly I moved money here. So is it true that you moved the money or you didn't? And if you didn't, then where is it? What happened? In your opinion,
the money was moved, but the money was not moved outside of what we were supposed to move it for.
Right.
The dollars.
So you would double? Would you say you doubled? Like when everything came about, you looked at everything. Did you double the money? Was it more than you were supposed to send? And was basically the whole? Oh, okay.
There was no limitations on what we. There was no rules. Do you know what I'm saying? There was no limitation. So when we were making moves, when we were talking about hiring people, when we were doing grants, when we were sending dollars, for instance, I woke up one morning, I said, we're going to grant dollars to the girls. I called Aya Damons in Baltimore and I gave her a $50,000 grant. That wasn't a program. I didn't have a board to approve it. I just did it. That's an example, right? So when we were talking about doing support and direct support for people, that's something that I think is very important. It's something I did at Black and Pink for 5.
So people keep asking us, where do you film your podcast? We shoot everything inside Riverside.
Right.
I record
5.5 years. When I say alleged from their perspective, I pled guilty because I wanted to be done. I had these options. Either I was going to be in a situation, and like I said before, where it was going to be a he she said conversation against these 3 girls in a trial in Trump's America.
Oh. Right,
or
now
I could be done. And I looked at the landscape. There were people who had decided that I was guilty the moment the indictment came down. There were people who were open to having conversations with me, who I was able to share things with, but understand what was happening. And there are the people out there who are like, we don't give a fuck. We love Dominique. I know people get really angry about that, but I'm not asking for that. I never asked for blind support. What I've asked for, like with Tabitha, bitch asked me a question. The girls never asked me a question. I say the girls expensive as a community. Ask me questions. I ain't got no problem answering these questions. And so, no, I did not deviate from what I was supposed to do. I feel like I was scapegoated. And because when you ask me what mistake I made, because I did not do my due diligence, when I first started hearing Dominique, I remember there was someone who had inboxed you on Instagram. The Okra Project said on their tax forms that you stole money. I was just like, girl, please. I thought it was just because I did not take that shit seriously. By the time it reared itself around, I had to be I had to be fighting in a way that did not put me in the best position.
So let's get out of this. So there we have that. So there you have it. That was so pretty much Dominique herself. You heard her, not from me, from her. She said, I need you to ask me direct questions. And it's been plenty of, in my opinion, in my unbiased opinion, because I don't know Dominique and I don't know any of these people. I'm just an outsider. You know, I'm not even. I'm new to the community. Hell, I just got. Hell, I just got my associate's degree probably from how we going. Maybe bachelor's, but definitely associate degree. And and they asked her direct questions, and she didn't answer. Now, damn, they asked her where'd the money go to. Well, if it was 10 people that said they wanted wigs, we got 10 wigs. Well, if it was this, we got this. That's good. We'll show the receipts because let me tell you something. I myself have had my my experience in the system. My experience down to because mind your business, don't you judge me, judge your mama, okay? But listen, I've also had my experience in being down there in the system and having my own things, you know. And I've never been to the point where I could admit to what I did. And you just pretty much I'm not gonna plead guilty to anything that I didn't do. You know what I'm saying? You know, 2 plus 2 equals 4. You know, I know we love you, D. We do, baby. But we don't believe that shit, baby. You ain't even gotta bring a part 2 or 3, the drive, the iCloud, the SoundCloud. We don't care no more. We know that you did it. You took the money, and that's cool. Just I think the thing is for all of us across the community is that bitch you ain't have to lie about it. If you had stood 10 toes down and said, look, bitch, I took this money, I was wrong. This is how y'all don't get caught up in these systems or whatever, because I too myself have worked with grants, have worked in care and worked in assistance and worked in community health and worked in trans health and worked in trans health and stuff like that. And I've been there. I've seen it. Worked in it for 15 plus years. And it is checks and balances. And I've never had a director that acted that loosely when it came to the funding, because you know there's a tight drift. And on top of it, you was saying that you was making 200,000 here plus and you was making 100,000 here plus, and you was in a good position. You was to really do a lot of good, Dominique, and you fucked it up. You did, sis. You did. You did. Can you come back from this? I mean, yeah. I mean, the community is still gonna love you. That's what they're good about. We good about being like Planet Fitness and saying, "We forgive you. Come back. We forgive you. No judgment here." But you can't count the money no more. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. You can't come to the back. But you after the church offering and the bowl pass, you can't come back here. No. You stay up there. You can announce the amount. You can say it on the mic. We'll give you the amount to announce, but you can't count it or take it to the bank. You know, and that's just what it says, because at the end of the day, when you do things like that, and then when we try to go and get these other people try to go and get these grants, because people don't understand. I've worked in these in community health and things like that. These contracts and these people that have grants and stuff. These grants really do help in the community so much. Assistance, living assistance, food, or therapy and stuff like that. These grants really help. And so Dominique, with your big gapped ass, what it did was you made it look bad. And on top of what you lied, you really could just came out and say, yes, I did it, but this is where you have to do it. I did this, and I got even if the closet wasn't in there. They said it was a closet, and the detectives pulled this. I mean, it ain't no more for the DA to prove. I mean, they proved theirs. You pleaded guilty. You 5 years of probation. You got your time served or whatever. Keep it light, bitch. Don't do nothing. You got no business. Don't get no fights, no scruffles. But don't stop fighting it. That's what we want you to do, Dominique. Stop fighting it. Okay? The more you fight it, the more you look dumb, baby. The more you look dumb. Stop fighting it. A real bitch gonna say, that's how I know. Listen, just say you did the shit. Be like TS, she don't get no fuck. Yeah, bitch, I did it, so what? I walked the street and I did it, but bitch, so what? Kiss my ass quick. What, you gonna pew me in the foot? You gonna do it? You do it. There you go. Come on. Oh, sugar, yo, motherfucker. You know that movie. If you know that movie, let me know what movie it is in the comments below. But listen, Dominique, we want you, we love you, but you can't count the money no more, Oh, and I would say this, in closing about it, just my opinion about this. Shout out to all the people they've been covering this and this not being biased about it and not whatever, but just come from me. I'm not coming to beat Dominique up, of course, because I like whatever Dominique does or whatever. I'm new to a lot of different things, but I'm glad that she has her stardom in what she's doing, whatever. And I see she transitioned doing 2020. I learned a lot about her. I didn't even know she transitioned doing 2020. She has like a lot of experience in community health. She's been to jail one time before. She's a repeated felon, and we know that. We accept y'all baby daddies back every other time after he cheated. He laid down. He came back home, brought everything else. He brought hantavirus, the pep, everything else under the sun. He brought it back home to you, and we forgave him, and we gonna forgive Dominique. We are, but Dominique, you can't count the money no more. You cannot count the goddamn money no more. Okay, the community, we have to hold you accountable as well. We out here talking crazy to all the rest of these motherfuckers. We ain't gonna be talking crazy to them without talking crazy to you too. So just me being a part of the community, I'm on the lower totem pole. I had to get permission to do this video, but I'm being on the lower totem, on the lower totem pole. From the back of a screaming up to the front. You can't count the money. You can come to the party, but you can't count the money. And then on top of it too, Dominique, I'm gonna tell you something. To be a shining star, you got to let go of shit. Don't let the star go to your head, baby. Keep your feet to the ground. No matter how big you get, it's okay to be a star, but understand, as you're shining light, sometimes shining light is to give it to other people is more important than you feeling the light. And I think you're feeling yourself a little bit too much and you're smelling yourself, bitch. Stop this. Okay? Stop this. Okay? Stop this. Because you make other people around you look bad too. And you already got these crazy stalkers and coming around you. I thought we had one deal whisper. Now we got a spiritual whisper. And I don't know. I'm just so confused. So confused. The woman doing documentaries on you like she. This bitch on too be doing documentaries on you, Dominique. It's the best way for you to get rid of the gossip and drama and tea and shit like that. The best way for you to do it, Dominique, okay, is to own up to it. Because then what else they got to talk about? Nothing. I don't think they be mad at TS all the time because that bitch looks too much like fish. There's not some real throw at it person. Like, to throw it. People can't throw shit at me because listen, you can say, I did. I did that. Yup, I sure did. And I asked, and I told God to forgive me. Kiss my hands. But yeah, Dominique, just to be part of it. And shout out to, I was listening to one of the kings of commentary and podcasting and YouTube is Conscious TV, CTV. Shout out to the king. Very definitely holding the you have back in the day you had those the town meetings and holding the hall and holding meetings and shit. That motherfucker, I'm telling you, every time we had that the town halls in the meetings. Listen. The ones that's mandatory, they send your email and say this is a mandatory meeting. This ain't the one you could just pass by. It's just mandatory. Be there or you getting it right up. I like that. But thank God for people holding us accountable. It doesn't matter. You could be trans, gay, whatever. We hold our own accountable over here too. And that's what you need to hear from me today is that we hold our own accountable. And I too agree with everybody else is that I was listening to the panelists over there, which is great panelists over there. I too agree that we love Dominique, but she can no longer count the money or be in the room where the money is or hold any access to any of the accounts. Nope. She can pass out the flyers. She could drive the church van. She can pick out wigs. She can't pay for them. Nope. We got that. We need receipts. But we love her. She's still gonna be in work. We still gonna work with her. We love you, Dominique. But yeah. That's my only sentiment. So just want to come out and say my little piece about, Dominique. So if you thought I was going to beat up my sister, I wasn't going to beat her up. I just want to tell her she can't count the money no more. All right. And that has been your morning podcast with Tank Talks TV1. Hit like, hit subscribe, and I'm out. Bye.